Okay.
What's on the invite? The brochure or what you made has a different link.
Okay. Okay. Brochure lo unna link tappu undi ma'am. Then length tappu.
మీట్ ఇది పెట్టాను కదా మేడం అది
Hey, sorry.
No problem. No
We
problem.
didn't observe that. Okay. సరే అయితే మనం మిగిలిన స్టూడెంట్స్ కూడా కన్ఫ్యూజన్ ఉంటుందేమో కొంచెం కాల్ చేయండి.
వాళ్ళు మీట్ అండ్ మీటింగ్లోనే ఉంది మేడం.
మీటింగ్లోనే ఉన్నట్టు కదా. జస్ట్ ఒక 5-10 minutes లో స్టార్ట్ చేద్దాం. ఈ కన్ఫ్యూజన్ ఒకటి ఉంది కదా, మెసేజ్ పెడతాం.
Yes, no problem. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, sir.
So can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect.
Sir, you are audible, sir.
Perfect. Dr. Sushi, can I start now?
Well, Satish, you will be introduced to our students first by
Oh, okay.
minutes
Sir,
minutes.
can we wait for 5 more minutes, sir? Students
Sure.
are joining.
Sure, absolutely. You're able to see my screen though, right?
$46, $47, $49, $48, $48. ఏం వచ్చింది లాస్ట్ టైం? DHT 7219, 47.
అలా కాదు, అలా అనలేదు డాడీ. పళ్ళు తుడుకోలేదు, ఏం తుడుకోలేదండి. ఎంత బేగా పక్క
Participants, please mute yourselves.
మన ఏం మనకు
Sir, Satish sir,
Yes. I can hear you.
we can start now, sir. I'll start the session, sir, and then hand over to you.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Warm welcome to you all to the webinar on Mapping Your Career in Technology Industry. I welcome Professor P. Srinivas Rao Garu, Principal, AU College of Engineering, Professor Kunjam Nageshwar Rao Garu, Head, Department of Computer Science and Systems Engineering, Professor Vijayanand Rao Garu, Head, Department of IT and CA, all the faculty members, scholars and students. Today, our speaker is Mr. Srinivas Guttukonda Garu.
Satish
Mr.
Guttukonda.
Satish
Satish
Guttikonda.
Guttukonda Garu. Mr. Satish is the Senior Director, Global Operations in NVIDIA. He has more than 25 years of experience with enterprises around the world with diverse business and technical expertise in the areas of software, product development, and delivery management. Sir has degrees in electronics, masters in computer applications, and masters in business administration. Mr. Satish specializes in thought leadership and execution, portfolio and business planning, strategy and negotiations, product solutions and system integration, business intelligence and reporting, global e-commerce solutions. Now I request Mr. Satish Garu to start the session. Over to you, sir.
Hi. Good afternoon. Late afternoon. So this is, I think they already introduced me. I'm Satish Guttikonda, basically working with NVIDIA. It's basically, I think most of you should be knowing it. We are into chip designing, from gaming to supercomputers, data centers, everything. Chip goes into all these things. So I run their operations, global operations, direct. It's nearly around 32 countries which we operate on, which directly work with them in their whichever the chips, the cards which we sell. We support them with all the software, the drivers, and any updates which we need to give to the users to get a better performances. Coming to today's session, what I thought is, what would be useful for the future technologists going to be from the universities and the students. Most of you are computer science. I think it's the computer science students. So I thought, what would be the most important thing that you need to keep in mind to look forward in the companies or in the future of the technology areas which you want to get yourself involved with. So let me start off with the topic. I just wanted to keep it very simple and simple language, no industry jargons or anything like that, so that it's easy to understand and what you need to go about. I'm going to cover 5 topics today. Each of the topic I will cover around 15 minutes. Any questions at the end of it, we can discuss another 15 minutes. So that would be the agenda for today. So the first topic which I'll be covering is paving your future, how it should be, and industry opportunities and path you decide going forward after your degrees. Employment, meaning I'm going to cover what the companies expect from you and what you should expect from the companies, etc. And the work-life balance, a very important thing, because we all work to have a good life and a balanced life. So these are the areas which I would like to cover. Any questions? I just want to check if anything else you need other than these. Okay, I'll move on to the next topic. Paving your future. I think everybody's future starts off from childhood and what you're learning and what you guys get taught from your parents, your neighbors, your friends, and your teachers and your professors, right? So other than that, every basic things what you do, watch, movies maybe, and documentaries, everything is the learning part of your life. life. For example, I mean, lot of, I mean, I have a son who is doing engineering now. I mean, I request them to watch these Discovery channels and all this stuff, where there is some history, invention, and about people, psychology, basically, including even the animals, basically, because a lot of people don't understand how things work in the nature and the environment, including the SpaceX programs and all this stuff. Everything is derived with certain basic structures and the basic foundations of what human beings evolved, or any of the living beings evolved. For example, I mean, if you see in Africa, I mean, every year, I mean, you do have a huge falcons migrating from one place to other, or the Siberian birds coming down to India, or flying around 20,000 kilometers and moving back because of the climate changes, right? I mean, so these are things which help you understand the environment, psychology, behavioral attitudes, and everything. So at the end of the day, what is that we do as IT technologists or IT software developers or product designers, whatsoever, right? I mean, and what you do is basically, I mean, you're going to build around this behavioral stuff to make the life better to individuals or to the environment or advanced technologies. So understanding these areas is very, very important. And I would suggest everybody to start not just watching a comedy movie for entertainment or something like that. Spend some time in watching these shows in the televisions. I mean, you have something called as How the Universe Works and how it's made. Even in Indian shows, Ye Mera India, I mean, OMG or something like that, they call it, right? And or the Mythbusters. So these are things which you need to start looking at and start understanding how things work, how the pyramids are built, right? How the ancient temples were built. So these are things. I mean, there is always some mathematical equations which to build such. For example, at the Tanjavur temple, I mean, if you see the stone on the top is a single stone monolith, which the shade doesn't even fall on the ground in any given point of the time. So there's a lot of calculation which went into it, right? So these are things which we need to learn, because tomorrow when you write a program or an algorithm, these are things which you need to understand, the math, the physics, everything. Otherwise, I mean, you won't be able to write a program. So most important thing is knowledge. Everything, what you see, what you observe, what you talk in a day-to-day with different friends or your neighbors or everything helps you up in building your business or working in a company wherein you will use them as inputs going in the future. So please start watching these different programs or reading books or whatever interests you. I mean, but start doing this so that it will help you in a long run. And learning. The next topic is learning. Learning. I mean, yes, you are getting educated in good universities and all this, but you also need to understand that you need to develop yourself. Your professors and your lecturers will help you if you are going to help them on trying to make them understand what you need or what would be good for you going to the future. They will be, you can use them as a tool to help you achieve certain things. Unless you ask something, I mean, they won't even understand what you really want, right? They can just go into the syllabus, but if you do ask them, they will start helping you out. Communication, for example, I mean, most of the people whom I see who come for the interviews in our organizations, the communication is not at all good. They may know the concept of it, but they would not be able to present it in a way that they can influence the interviewers or the person whom they're working with. So most important thing, or the first step, is the communication, which you guys need to improve upon, and that will play a long way for you in your career path. Psychology. Most of the people do not talk about it, but psychology, when you say psychology, I mean, that people say, oh, why do you need a psychology? I'm not a doctor and all this stuff. You will be working with teams, and most of the time, and every person is different from each other, right? And you'll be working with the customers who was asking for a solution to you, or building a product or an application from you. you need to understand where they're coming from, and what is it going to do when you develop the ask, what he is asking you to develop. If you think that, I mean, certain things are not all good. I mean, most of the companies, like for example, I can give you an example. Kodak. I mean, I don't know how many people know. Kodak is a company which used to have photo reels, basically. I mean, 35 photographic reels, which we used to use long back, and it's one of the top-notch companies at that point of time. Everybody used to use Kodak photographic reels. They didn't change for a long time. Now where are they? Or a Xerox. If you say that the first computer was developed by Xerox. Most of them don't know that. They think that it's Microsoft and Apple, but it's Xerox who started off with that. So these are things which, if you don't change according to what is needed, or don't understand the human behavior and how it's going to change, you will be left out. So these are things which you need to understand. So psychology plays an important part on a day-to-day growth of your career. You need to understand how things work, how to work with your team members. If you're becoming a manager, I mean, how to handle your team members. And most of the people, when I interact with my managers, someone comes and tells me that, oh, this person is not good enough because he's not able to. So I tell them, there are 6 people who interviewed him, and everyone thought that he's fit for this job. So that means, I mean, he has something which you are not tapping, or you are not able to understand, or you're not able to use him in the right manner. So we need to start using him in the right manner, because I believe personally that every person has a certain talent, and a good manager will tap that talent and get him used in his projects. So the psychology is needed there to understand what his capabilities are and how we can utilize him for your best to your company needs. Then skills. Definitely, there are different skills. Not everyone can master all the skills, definitely. But there are certain basic skills. For example, as a computer engineers, I mean, if you are choosing certain area of work, you need to understand the skills. For example, some may be good at Java, some may be good at PHP, some may be good at Python. So, but when you say good, you should be really good, not just a theoretical knowledge or something like that. So those are skills. So skills, there are varied skills, right? I mean, so even the communication is a skill, or technical skills are there, or any other skills come on. Negotiations. You need to negotiate how to know how to negotiate. What I mean by that is, for example, I mean, at home, I mean, you negotiate with your parents, literally. Dad, I need an iPhone, right? I mean, so and you will explain him why you need that iPhone. So the negotiation skills are so important in any organization as such, to convince someone that the solution what you are presenting to them is what they need, is the most important thing. If they don't believe that what the solution what you're talking about is not going to fit their requirement, they're not going to buy the software from you, or they're not going to believe that this can be delivered on time. So you need to be. Negotiation is not just a price part of it. What I'm talking about is the negotiation of any conversation what you're making, convincing that other person that this is possible. Then we can talk about process. Everything. I mean, a lot of people, especially in India, most of the time the processes are not followed. Actually, that's what we realized. I mean, I'm talking about like 10 years back, but there's huge improvement in our industry as well, where people started following the process. What makes it so important is that when you do in a ad hoc manner, basically you will not be able to have the consistency of the quality of that product. Any product. Maybe it can be testing, or maybe it can be, for example, somebody is doing a coding in Java. There is always something as a process called as a peer review. Basically, why do you do that? Always, when I develop something, my code is the best. That's what my belief is. But I may not understand that. Because of my confidence in myself, I have missed out certain things. Maybe I'm not considering the naming standards, or maybe I'm not considering certain other standards which are going to give a problem. And a peer does his peer review, he's going to point out and say that, okay, these are not So that's one process which I'm talking about. Or there is a process of any project has you do have the let me give you a right example. You do have agile process. Agile process, that's the latest going on, and there's a life cycle, basically software life cycle, life cycles as well. The different way of doing projects. Each one has a set of defined processes which you need to follow to make that project successful. That's one example. Then there is something called as a different way of doing a documentation as such. There's a process defined for that. For a validation part of it, there's a process defined for it. When you do that, what happens is, for example, a team of around 20 people are testing a project or developing a project. When you have a defined processes, every person will have a consistent programming standard or a validation standard which can be defined into the project. So those are so important, so that the project has a consistent. Otherwise, somebody will be doing a certain level, different style of coding, and the other person will be doing. And then when we combine those two, because the projects are split in a macro level, so they do not integrate well. So these are things. And then tomorrow, I mean, if you're moving out of that project and going to different projects, some other person should be able to take over that. So coming to delegation. Delegation is another thing which I will go in a little bit more detailed in that when we're talking about teamwork and all. Then you're talking about there's one big skill which I would like to definitely discuss is listening. Most of the people they do not listen. They think that what they know is what is good for the project, or what is good for their career, or what is good for everybody, right? Listening is one of the most important thing, not only in the career part of it, but also in your life. Like you can, the number of people you talk, the number of people you listen to, you can do a better judgment. So that's one thing which I see in the present generation, that there is a huge lack, or I would say that or they're confident enough that they think that they know everything, right? I mean, so I would say that everybody should learn this art of listening, listen, and then grasp what they think, because everybody knows logic. I think they can understand when somebody is telling and they're listening to them. They understand whether it's logical or not, and they can take what is good in it and then incorporate in their ventures, basically. So these are the two things. Knowledge and learning is one thing which you guys need to start from day one, or from now. I mean, so I would say that, I mean, you guys spend a little bit more time on doing these and learning these things what I just spoke. Coming to the opportunities which are in the IT industry, I would say that I can categorize. I mean, I won't say that. I mean, another person can say that there are 6 more different areas under the standard wise. I mean, there are around these 4 categories. One is research opportunities. You can basically get into companies which do research, like quantum mechanics. There's a drug designs which they do for the latest, or they do study on the emerging viruses and all this stuff. We just went through COVID. I mean, the companies like Pfizer and all these companies have got these medicines within a span of 3-4 months. I mean, which would be never a possibility before this whole thing happened, because of technology and then the supercomputers which we have presently now, which can turn out around 450 petaflops of processing power now. I mean, previously 10 years or 20 years of R&D which used to happen now is happening in like 15 days to 20 days. That's the advantage of this technology, right? So then we're talking about space sciences and studying on the black holes, or studying about new life in the universe, and every prospect of it. Research. I mean, I got a chance once to visit Princeton University in US to understand what they do there, and I I was actually proud when I saw that. 70% of the people who are working there are Indians, and all of them are like 25 to 30 years old. And the best part is the technology what they're working on, and they do not have. They have a goal, but they don't know how to do it. That's what they're researching on, and it was amazing. That was nearly around 12 years back, and they were talking about the technology what I'm seeing today. And at that point of time, I thought that is it really possible? And now, that day they gave me a demo of automated cars, self-driving cars. And now I'm working in a company where we have our own product which we use, and Toyotas and Volkswagen and most of the other companies are buying the technology from us and using that. And 12 years back, if you ask me, I have my own doubts. But then when I saw these guys were working at that point of time, researching on that, and that was amazing. So there are a lot of these companies which recruit people to do research, and it's very interesting to learn what are the projects. And one of the product which they showed me is how to increase the longevity of life, basically. And since they're talking about no death, basically. So they were talking about a lot of these sciences which are in our Vedas and all this stuff. And it was so interesting that a research company like that, talks about this and try to understand how it can be achieved. So it's pretty interesting. So these are the areas which you can very interesting. Yes. Will it be enough for a lifetime to achieve something during a research company? I don't know. But then I think every day would be an interesting day for them, because something or the other they'll find out. And that would be a chipping stone for the next invention. So that's area which you guys can choose. Then there is this product companies. For example, NVIDIA, chip designing. Basically we do drive, NVIDIA drive. Basically, we autonomous cars and all this stuff. So in that areas, if you are doing that, you need to work on VLSI tools and Cadence and Synopsys. There are different tools, right? And interestingly, technology is changing so fast. When I did join the industry, when I joined in NVIDIA around 2007, we're talking about 20 nanometer chips, basically 27 nanometer chips now. Now, interestingly, now if you see what's happening is around 7 nanometer became more or less a standard. 10 is pretty common now, and 7 is going on, and there is 5 nanometer and a 3 nanometer chips. Basically, what we're talking about that is, I think we used to always converse at the Moore's law, which was defined in 1965, and a little bit of changes happened in 1975 though. What they said was the number of transistors in a square millimeter, it will be doubling every couple of years. I think now going forward, which Intel and we also thinking that maybe at some point of time it will become obsolete, because we are having like around 450 million transistors in a square millimeter now at this point of time. So that's a crazy number, right? So I think the 7 nanometer is coming to around 250 million transistors per square millimeter, if I'm right. So these are things. It's very, very interesting how the technology space is changing on a day-to-day basis, and it's a different experience to understand. At one point of time in 2007, the supercomputer used to consume. We need to have a grid of electricity, a separate grid for that to power that. Now a supercomputer, you can actually plug it to your wall at your home, and you have supercomputer with you. Yes, the how many petaflops you get is different though, but you still have a supercomputer with you, right? So that's the advancement of the technology and all. So when I say product, it's just not only the chip designing. Yes, there are different products which are getting like Amazon, the e-commerce site itself can be considered as a product because it's a beautiful product. It's serving more or less every country possible. possible, and every taxation departments and everything is integrated into that. There are so many apps. Like Google Pay is an app. I mean, most of us, everybody is, PayU is an app. I mean, that's a product company, right? I mean, so these are all the options which you have in different areas. That would be typical software, wherein you may need Java or a PHP or Python, or these are the scripts which you need to know. So those are the product companies which you have opportunity to get into. And of course, there are services companies like Wipro, Infosys, Tata, all these companies basically, right? I mean, so they do work on different products for different other companies like petroleum products or banking products or finance. Yeah, I said banking already. So or a pharmaceutical industry or transportation companies, you name it, airlines, everything. So they are services. I mean, they do get a project and they start working on it, and India, especially India, has a lot of these services companies which are thriving around now. So, and a lot of people have this confusion. I mean, saying that, oh, you know what? I mean, there's outsourcing and India is cheap. No, I don't believe that anymore, because most of the people work with the Indian companies because of the productivity and the quality what we are giving in now. So that's a lot of improvement which has happened in the past decade, and people really vouch for the quality and the productivity what we give in from the companies over here in India. Yeah. So academics. I think I don't need to tell much about it. I mean, you have your professors. I mean that's one of the professors. I would say that people who are interested in should own up and be professors and help thousands and lakhs of students who are coming in and changing their life and guide them on what they want to do, what they can do to develop our future generations. Very dedicated job, and most of the people whom I know, my professors and all, who mentored me and all this stuff. I mean, I'm thankful to them even today, because the guidance what they have given me has changed my life completely. So I was from Vijayawada, and then I have moved more or less all over the world, roaming around, met a lot of bright, intelligent people, and that whole thing didn't happen just because I was lucky. It's because of the people whom I met, who has groomed me and who has guided me in such a way that I achieve something in my life to my happiness. So I'm thankful, and I would say that if somebody is going into academics route, yeah, you can become the doctorates in it, and I don't know whether you guys know it or not. Most of the companies take the consulting of these professors, researchers, basically the doctors, researchers, which from the universities, to build their products going forward. So NVIDIA has our fellow is from Stanford, and he's one of the best in the world, basically. I mean, he still teaches in Stanford, but he's our guiding principle, how our company runs around. So on our solutions and suggestions, and he's the one who brings in the talent for any discussions which happen to develop certain products, or what's going to be the future developments in the company. So it's important that if somebody is interested in academics and getting into the grooming the students and making their future, it's really appreciated. So these are four areas which I would say are very important. Just I'll pause here. I will ask if you have any questions here. Okay. So, sorry. Okay. So coming to path you decide. one thing, I mean, most of the people ask me saying that, hey, what should I do? Is the question they ask me actually. So I asked them a different question. I said, what do you want to do, right? So that would be the right question that I would like to ask anyone, including my son too as well, saying that. Because I mean, yes, at one point of time, my dad, that's in, I'm talking about 80s basically, 89 and all. He asked me, he used to tell me that, hey, you know what? I mean, I'm an engineer, you need to become an engineer. That used to be the standard, right? Things things change a lot now. I mean, there are people who are not engineers but make beautiful careers and meaningful life and a lot more money than engineers and everything, right? It's all about how you want to be and what is that you want to be is what you need to have a clarity on. And the best thing was you can listen to everybody. At the end of the day, you are the one who will decide, and that's what the decision you will make for your life. So that clarity has to be there, and you should not do anything because somebody else said that you should do it. That's one thing I'm not telling here just now to you guys. I followed it all my life, and I tell this to my kids as well, because it's not somebody's decision to decide what you have to do it. It's you who has to decide what you want in life and what you want to be and how you will be happy about your life. So that clarity is very, very important. Be rigid on that and make right choices. That's what I would say. And making the decision making, when you have that clarity, you can make right choices because you can actually talk to hundreds of people, but you are going to take what you feel is the right thing or the right logic which works for you from those discussions and make the decision out of it. And also, one of the meaning why I say decision making is important is a lot of people are so scared of risk taking. Most of the successful people in this world are risk takers. You talk about Steve Jobs. I mean, he left his job and started off, right? He doesn't even have a degree. He took a risk, right? You talk about most of the Dell. I mean, same thing, same story. FedEx, same story. You name most of the companies, company heads who founded the companies took a risk, saying that this is what I want to do and this is what I'm going to start. Saying that, my own example, I'm a risk taker, but I'm a calculated risk taker, I would say. My decision is like, I mean, I would calculate what would be the chances of failure when I'm taking the decision. If I feel that I have a scope of 70% of being successful doing that, I'm going to take that risk and do it. And 99% of the time, I was successful doing that. And most of the time, people get worried that if they do a mistake, I mean, that's a problem. No, you know what? That's the best lesson you got. And this one I learned from my CEO at NVIDIA. I mean, he used to say that, you know what? If you're doing a mistake, I'm fine with it. But do not repeat the same mistake. That means you didn't learn anything. I mean, if you see the statement, I mean, it's a really good statement. I mean, he always used to say, you know what? Make a new mistake. So all of us learn from it, but don't do the same mistake, right? So it's a wonderful thing. I mean, so risk taking. I mean, if you don't take a risk, I mean, you will never achieve it because there is a pressure from delivering certain product on time and all this stuff, and there are certain things. Most of the time, what happens is, I mean, when a project is happening, there is a problem with the code which you're developing. People start sitting on that and discussing about fixing that problem in the same single direction. You know what? Just back out of it. Okay, this is not working. We may lose a day, but then there's a different way to do it. That's what you should start. Yes, but then that should be communicated properly and say that, I mean, okay, we're going to lose out a day or two from the deadline. So, but then that's the right thing to do, because a patchwork will never ever help you out, because the patchwork may break after running maybe around 20 concurrent users hitting the server and servers locked down because the connection pools are not closing even, right? So I think I'm going too technical over here, but then that decision making and risk taking capabilities have to be there. You need to start thinking about every decision of yours and weigh the risks and see whether it's worth it or not, and you should make the right decisions at the end of the day, right? So, and reassess. So when you join a career path, that's not your life. Please understand that. So it used to be, I mean, I remember in my first interview, they asked me, what's your plan in the next 5 years? This is what they used to ask me. I used to say that I want to become a manager in 5 years and blah, 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 and all this stuff, right? But now times changed. You have to reassess yourself every year, and see whether the end goal, what you want to achieve, is it meeting that, or you need to change your path to do that? Is it the technology which you need to change, or is it the domain which you need to change? I mean, when I'm talking about domain, I mean you are going to managerial skills, or you're talking about quality assurance engineers, or you're going to development engineers or architectural engineers. So there are different areas which you need to do. You need to change that part? Or a pre-sales guy, you want to go into sales or marketing, or all this stuff. I mean, you need to start rethinking about whether this is the right path for you or not. Maybe you lost interest within 1 year, but do not sit there and say that, okay, I lost interest, but you know what, they're paying me, I need to do it. Right? You are not doing justice to the company as well as yourself. You need to reassess yourself, saying that if that is not what it is, you need to start changing your style of work or career path, or whatever it is. You need to start changing it. Look into that. So you need to reassess every year, and look at what needs to be changed in your life and what needs to be good for you in the long run. So that's the most important thing. Employment. So you do join a company, right? I mean, there's always expectations. I mean, the placements that happened, I did get around 20 lakh salary package or a 10 lakh salary package and all this stuff. And yes, a good company, I mean, that's doing a very good, basically this company is doing lots of money, so it's safe for me and all. So this is what most of the campus, when we go to the clubs, this is the discussion which happened there actually. So let's have a party because we got this company with this package. So what I would like you guys to think about is that, first of all, think about what type of work you want to do and what company you want to work with. The companies are, when they are paying a salary for any individual, there are certain expectations from that individual, as much as expectations from you, from that company, right? But here, the company comes first. So please understand that you are up to mark to join that company in that role and do justice to that. Otherwise, you will not be there in 6 months. So you have to have the clarity and commitment and integrity that, yes, I joined this company and I'm going to give 100% to achieve the vision and goal of the company on whatever role I was put in. That commitment has to be there. And please understand that, and one of the trends which I see in the generation of students who join the companies is, you know what? I mean, not all. I don't want to generalize this. There are few. They come join. 1 year they stay, and within another year they get into a different company because they got a pay hike. You can do that a couple of times, but later, when in the long run, people, when they're interviewing you, they see that as a trend and they do not want to recruit you. Please understand that, because people want to see the commitment, what you have done. Because when you join a company, it takes them at least 6 months to 8 months to train you to the technology what you want to work on. And since you learn the technology, if you leave them, it's no use for them. But then please understand, these people who are working in that company will be in the same one, because it's the end of it. I mean, it's a global village. Everybody knows everybody. LinkedIn tells you where you are, who your friends are. The referral checks happen. So make sure that when you join a company, in the first company you join, minimum of 3 to 4 years you spend, and be technically very, very sound and useful for that company as well. And trust me, in a long run, that will give you lots and lots of advantage when you're moving into different other companies. So I would ask you to start thinking in these lines, because there are a lot of people who are unsuccessful because they start jumping in their careers and they are not good at any of the process, because I mean, it will take time for anybody to learn and understand the processes, technologies, and everything. Motivation. So you got a job, and what motivates you now? Okay, go to office. I mean, you do some work, then come back, and then you're getting a nice pay packet. So you enjoy your life. That's what your motivation. I mean, you need to see in the I mean, on a day-to-day basis, basically, and saying that what is that I can improvise, how I can improve myself on a day-to-day basis. Because if you're not there, you're nowhere. The company within 6 months. That's the standard nowadays, guys. I mean, this is pretty blunt. I think any company nowadays, I mean, even the government jobs now are not that safe, because I mean the technology has come and changed everything, right? I mean, people needs to be on their toes. They need to know the technology as such, and they need to keep updating themselves. Change is forever. Please understand that. So you need to be motivated, very highly motivated. At the end of it, what I saw is any technology you get in 6 months you'll get bored on it, because it's the same code, same syntax, same thing. So what is that? I mean, which will motivate you, right? So let me tell you what motivates you. Every person, whether he's a developer or a validation engineer or an architect or something like that, he needs to start understanding businesses. For example, the business farming is a business, is a big business. Let me tell you here in Bangalore, I have recently visited a farm. The guy is actually doing farming sitting in Bangalore, and the farm is 100 kilometers away. And he showed me this in his home on his tablet, and how he's doing it. He has around 100 acre property, which is divided into pods, and he knows in each pod what the pH levels of the soil, what fertilizer is needed, what crop is going on in that, and how much fertilizer has to go to each and every pod. And he's maintaining that sitting in his living room in house in Bangalore. And it was so interesting. And the company's name, I mean, it's a Israeli technology. Company's name is NetAFM. They have everything automated. Amazing sensors and all this stuff. That's the interest. I mean, to make their software that way, they need to understand the Indian climatic condition, Indian soils, Indian water table, minerals, what it has in the water, everything. So somebody is an expert who gave them the input to do all that stuff in their tools, right? So these are things which are so important that you talk about again. And recently, I think a couple of weeks back, I was talking to someone, and we're talking about these micro technologies, and it's very surprising to me. This company is working in Brazil and South America. They are doing aquaculture, prawn cultivation. And guess what? The masters in the technology is from Vijayawada. I was like shocked, literally shocked. The company name is what? Engg-AUCE is what the company's name is. and they are a 100 crore company, and they build software for this aqua marine farming. I said, how do you do this? I mean, you know what they do? They have these marine grade sensors, military grade sensors, which they have in those farms. They can actually hear the munching sound of the prawns, and the amount of food which is going on, and how much should be given at what times, and what is the conditions and everything and all. It's amazing, the technology. Think about it, how much understanding of aquaculture is needed to build such a system there. So why I'm giving these examples to you is basically everything what you develop tomorrow, you need to have an understanding of business, how the business flows, what is its importance in the community, or to the mankind, or to anything, right? So start understanding the business flows. The banking, take an example of banking. There's a lot of improving in banking system. At one point of time, I mean, you need to go in lines and queues in the bank to get money. Now you're not doing it. You're doing Google Pay now. So the whole understanding and transaction and being it secure is making us use Google Pay or Paytm or PayU, right? So you guys need to understand how the business process works, and what would be the risks to that, and how you mitigate those. And these are things which you need to work on. So that understanding will help you out, get promoted in the companies, because your understanding or your capability of talking to a customer, because you understand their language, which you can implement it in your projects. That is what will make you priceless. So you don't need to ask hikes to the companies at the point of time if you master it. Companies will give you the hikes because they don't want to lose you, because you are having expertise in what is the basic need of any project. So that's the important thing. So don't focus on a tool like Java or something like that. I'm not saying that you should not be good at it. Be good at it. But yes, that's not sufficient. What you need to be good at is business understanding. Business understanding can be so many different areas actually, right? Assembly lines and all. I'm going to take, for example, I mean, you go to Germany, I mean, if you see that in an assembly line, I mean, every 3 minutes, a car rolls out of the assembly line of the factory. 70% of the work, 70 to 80% of the work is done by robotic arms, right? So that whole thing is coded by humans like us, right? So basically, you need to understand how the weld should be, and how the process line works and all this stuff, right? I mean, that much of information. I told you in the starting. I mean, you should watch how it's made, or the serials in Discovery or something like that, because you will know how things can be made. So that means that gives an understanding, saying that tomorrow you want to start a new business or new function, you want to start a startup or something like that. These are things which I know I have seen this something, why they're doing it something like that. Why can't I use that process into this project? I mean, I can tailor that to this and it will help me out. So it gives you ideas, right? So these are things which you need to start looking at. So I think that is the motivation you need to have. Comfort zone. When I say comfort zone, most of the people saying that, hey, I'm comfortable. The minute you say you are comfortable, that means you're a dead man or a dead woman. Because you should never be comfortable. Because in your lifetime, you will not be able to learn everything. There is no way you will learn everything, because there's so much stuff which is not, I mean, you cannot, human brain can store a lot, but then every day you can learn a new thing, including from, and then there is other thing which people say that at certain age we become very stereotyped. Basically, I mean, we start thinking, okay, this is what we know, so this is what we're comfortable with, so we're going to follow this process. You know, that's dangerous. Be open for change. You need to always think that, how can I change this process to be better, right? So come out of the comfort zone all the time. Please do not be comfortable, and be always changing till you die. Basically, you cannot be comfortable. Basically, you need to keep changing, and you need to be. Oh, I'm running out of time, I think. Can I have another 10 more minutes?
Yes, you can have.
Yeah. Okay. So so basically, you should never be on that comfort zone. You guys need to be always on your toes, saying how to learn something new and how to improvise. And there are things which are like for example, I mean, I'll just take an Indian situation itself. You go to a village, they don't have hospitals in certain villages still, but you know what? There is one person who will be there, who will bring a herb and just I mean, he'll make a paste out of it and he'll heal you. And a lot of pharmaceutical companies, I mean, I don't know how many people understand it. Every pharmaceutical company, the derivation of any medicine is basically from a plant or a herb or a root, but they make it chemically. For example, take a cancer drug, chemotherapy. Where is it coming from? It's from a plant. It's from a plant. But yes, you cannot have that many plants, I mean, that many tree barks removed. So basically what they're doing is then they make a chemical form of it and it's easy to reproduce. So they synthesized it, right? So every process, I mean, there's a history behind it, and there is a way to do it from the ancient times. So learning that stuff will help you. So always, any person, I mean, you see a tribal in a forest, you can learn 100 things from him. So keep, I mean, I do spend some time in the forest, basically helping out the forest department, and I meet a lot of these tribals. It's amazing how they can understand the environment, how they understand the climate and all this stuff. So when you talk to people, when you start meeting people, you know, it helps you to discover a lot of things which you have not even heard of, or neither Google is telling you those. So always be very motivated and do not be in a comfort zone. Just start talking to people. Try to gain as much knowledge as possible. Every knowledge, whatever you learn, you may think it's not useful for me now, but it will be useful someday at some point in your life or in your careers or somewhere else. So the last topic, which would be work-life balance. Why I put this in the last is it's a very, very important topic, which we started advocating in our companies, and not only it's important for the employee, but it's for the families as well, of their families. So I just thought I should share with you how to achieve work-life balance, basically. So that's my point. So what is work-life balance? So some of the people come and tell that, you know what, I'm working very hard. I sleep only like 1 hour. 23 hours I'm working. You know what? When somebody says that, I don't feel that that good, actually. Number one, in the sense not of sympathy or something like that. There's something wrong on what that person is doing. Actually, that's what I feel. We need to fix that, basically. So either I personally, if I'm managing that person, and if that person comes and says that, you know what, I'm working 23 hours, either the problem is with me, that I'm not giving him enough resources to help him out to do this job, or I did not train him properly to do his job in a smarter way, or I'm not giving him enough tools to work, or this person is not ready to do the change, work on change, wherein he can use certain tools and reduce his productivity, increase his productivity and reduce his work time, basically. So these are the factors which we look at. So when I'm saying that working smart, most of the people whom I see is they take a project and they want to finish it by themselves, because they feel that, oh, if I deliver it, I mean, you know, I get that confidence and the pride that I have done this project myself. Nobody will take it from you, trust me. Once you finish the project, yes, we upload you and that's it, we forget about you. But then you will burn out because you're working like 24/7 on that project, and a human brain can take up to stress levels to certain level without sleeping and without interaction with other people and all this stuff. You will be burnt out. So what my suggestion to all of you is, always when you're working, please be smart. When I say smart, please do not reinvent the wheel. Wheel is already invented. Take help from people who already has done that, so that you can understand how you can make it faster. And instead of 8 hours, you can finish it in 4 hours. And there's nothing wrong to ask someone saying that, hey, I need help. Most of the time, people do not want to ask because they think that, oh, they may think that they may feel that I'm incompetent. Please do not think that. If somebody thinks that you are incompetent, it's their problem and it's their fault. But there's no person in this world who is incompetent. It's how you utilize it. The other person, how he helps other person, and the other person, if he asks him to help him, that becomes teamwork, basically. Teamwork. In my office, I mean, most of us, we tell them that, you know what, I don't like heroes. I want, if one person in your team fails, the whole team fails. This is how we tell them. And not only in our company, most companies the same. It's the teamwork which matters at the end of the day. So when I'm saying teamwork, suppose one person in your team is struggling. The minute you go and help him and bring him up to speed, that's when you have achieved as a mentor and as a team player. And you're working smart. Because suppose, for example, I'm just giving a very, very rudimentary example, saying there is a 10,000 lines of code which you need to develop. You can do around 500 lines of code without any problems in a week. It will take around how many? 500 into 10, divided by 10,000. I mean, you're talking about 20 days or 10 days. 20 days, sorry. 20 days. But if you have a team of 4 people, my project deadline is cutting down by 5 days. 5 days. So, and then that means, even though I'm supposed to deliver it in 20 days, in 5 days, I'm finishing it out. I'm not burning out, number one, and I have enough time, and I'm going to be successful because I'm not only putting that project only dependent on me, but tomorrow I want to take a personal time off and spend some time with my family and friends. I attend a marriage. I have 3 other people who understands this code, and they can be there to make that project, any bug fixes which happen. So that's the important thing. So you have to start working smart and having a good team spirit, wherein you inculcate that habit. For the future managers and the people who are working on the teams, you need to start playing as a team players, and family and friends. Of course, that's the most important thing. Why we build careers and why we want to make money and why we want to live, basically. That's what I would say, right? If not families and friends, I mean, this life is worthless. That's what I personally feel. So make sure that you spend enough time and enough conversations with your family and friends as much as possible. I have a basic equation. I make sure that 70% I work, 30% I have fun like crazy. So people who know me know that. I mean, how do you manage this? Just because I work smart. So I will never say to any of the meetings, no, I cannot do it. I'm not available. I'm always available. Because it's how you manage your time and how you manage your work. So that comes, another word is delegation. Most of people I know, they do not like to delegate because of fear of, oh, they may not be able to do this work like how I do it. Or there is if I delegate that work, that means my importance will be gone. It's the attitude they have. You know what? If you don't delegate also, give a person another 1 week's time, he will learn it and he will always remove you. You start delegating it, that person starts respecting you and also starts sharing things with you which you don't know. So please understand that teamwork plays so important part in your work-life balance, and start working smart. So I think I was trying to run this very fast, but I hope this is making sense to you and it's logical. logical. What I'm giving you is my experiences, what I have in the past 25 years. What I would suggest you is think back, spend around 15 minutes of your time today on what I was talking about. Think if you think it makes sense, and start improvising on it. Some of the things I said may not match for your expectations, but that doesn't matter. But if 10% of it is useful for you, start looking into it and start implementing into your lives, and hope that will be useful for you. Any questions? I mean, I'm pretty much open to questions. If you have any, we can discuss it.
Any questions?
No, ma'am.
So, Mr. Ganesh, does it make sense what I'm talking?
Not like that. What he meant is, it's a communication problem. What he meant is, he has no questions.
No, I understand. Just trying to loosen up.
Yeah, sir, actually, this session is very nice, sir. Actually, in real life, well used, and actually, in Aruna Devi madam already said this session. Yes, sir, nice session. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Aruna Devi, who is it? Okay, anyway.
CSC department, ma'am.
In our department.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Actually, I am Tech first year, ma'am. Information Technology department. My MFCS subject faculty, ma'am.
Okay. She was talking about similar issues in your class. Okay, fine.
That's very nice.
So the issues that are discussed, especially the insightful talk by Satish, is very, very useful for going towards a successful career, and by inculcating good habits and commitment towards your work, and taste to learn new things, and readiness to change, and openness to accept certain incompetencies in our present level of expertise. All these things are very, very important. I did observe that most of the people will have some of these qualities lacking. That is why they may not be able to reach their goals as they aspire for. So, inculcating all the habits and the capabilities that were mentioned by Satish Gurtikonda is very useful for the budding professionals, computer science professionals, especially those in final years and third years and MTech students. For all of you, it will be very useful. I advise you all to really think on the aspects that are discussed in today's lecture, and try to practice on these things. Thank you very much, Satish Gutikonda, for your very insightful talk on various aspects that are very, very important for budding professionals. Over to Mary Saujanya, Dr. Mary Saujanya.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for obliging our request, sir, and speaking to our students today. I thank Mr. Satish Garu for his excellent talk today. He has he has talked about how knowledge and learning pave the way for the future. What are the different industry opportunities in research, services, academics, then how to decide the path with various factors like clarity, employment factors, and work-life balance, which is very, very useful, like Madam said, to all the students. Thank you very much, sir. I thank all our authorities, our principal, Professor P. Srinivasa Rao Garu, our head of the department, Professor Kunjam Nageshwar Rao Garu, head department of IT and CA, Professor Vijayanand Rao Garu, for their encouragement. I thank the Computer Center for their technical support, and I also thank Professor Shashi Madam for her constant support, and all the participants for their patient hearing. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. You have a very good holy tomorrow, right? A holy and a very, very bright
Yes, sir.
future.
Yes, sir.
Future on your careers and your life.
Thank you, sir.
Nice
Happy
meeting you.
Holi to you,
Thank you.
sir. Thank you.
Happy Holi to you,
Thank you. Thank you.
Satish. Thank you, Satish.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.